Welcome to Rambl episode 5 with the standard Barbs, Ben and Laz at the helm. A good way to start is an interesting fact that I actually learned today. This is very impromptu. The Reuben sandwich was named after the man who made it, after Charlie Chaplin's wife ordered the sandwich and said, "Make me whatever you can." And Reuben made the sandwich. So on that note, and that interesting fact...
Wait, who? Which Reuben? Is this a specific Reuben? A famous Reuben?
Well, he's some sort of chef.
It was just a random...
And Charlie Chaplin's wife was famous because of her association with Charlie.
What was her name?
Yeah, but so shouldn't it be called the Charlie? Shouldn't it be called the Charlie?
No, because Charlie didn't make it. It was Reuben made it.
No, because Charlie was famous enough to make Reuben the chef famous.
This has escalated quickly.
No, I'm sorry, but it should be called like the Chaplin. That's what it should be called. Then immediately it's famous. Immediately. I mean, if they wanted to have a solid business model behind their sandwich, they'd be calling it the Chaplin.
So
well, the Reuben sandwich is a global phenomenon, Ben, right? So if you think it should be the Chaplin sandwich, I don't know, your position's unproven. Reuben is on solid ground.
No. What I'm saying, Barbs, correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm sure I will.
It was a far riskier move. It was a far riskier move calling it the Reuben at the time. Right in hindsight, we can look back and say outstanding decision because the sandwich spoke for itself. But at the time, when you really wanted to make the sandwich famous, you've got to call it something famous.
I don't think
People
making
want to eat the Chaplin.
I don't think.
Nah.
Eat the Chaplin. That's got
what
a very.
What does the Reuben mean?
If you're eating the Chaplin, that's like.
What does the Reuben mean?
Would a Christian have the Chaplin? Because like a chaplain, like a Christian thing. So what was if you're eating the Chaplin? Isn't Chaplin a Christian thing?
Oh,
that's why Jews eat the Reuben, because well, Christians wouldn't eat the Chaplin. Bazing.
I'm not going to touch that.
Okay, well, 3 Jewish boys.
Yeah.
So.
Whatever. I just think it was poorly sold initially, but it's lucky that the sandwich spoke for itself, and it's now a global phenomenon.
I don't think Charlie saw it as core business, Ben. But anyway, let's move on.
Thanks for there we go.
All right, sorry.
So we were having a chat today. So we're still obviously on Skype with Ben, still in Paris, cooking bread and eating hummus and swimming in the
kneading chickpeas with his feet. And it's out of control over there.
As you do.
And as you know, my feet are clean and strong.
His big toe is as big. Like, honestly, you could play tennis with his fat toe.
Yeah. Well, he always had good balance.
Surprisingly, and we discussed this. It's surprisingly agile for a man as he was rotund. Rotund would be the word, especially during a couple of years ago.
Well, he's probably lost some kilos after his 5 days of illness.
We've discussed my weight in a previous episode.
Okay. Right. No. So this the actual topic. Besides, we got distracted and rambled, is discussing before in terms of exclusivity with a lady. So, and I've discussed this because, we're in a time where we talked about this dating apps, lots of things happening. And I've got controversial views. I say a good 18 months of seeing a girl. It takes a long time to work your way to the point of exclusivity.
Well, Ben, how far into your marriage did you start being exclusive?
We only got there about 3 months ago, so it's really great.
Ben is shaking his head.
So you started the relationship swinging.
You're such a twit.
I hope James is not listening to this. Have we actually reached the 100 listeners for her to view or listen?
Well, it depends how you look at the definition of 100 listeners.
I'm just looking at views. That's it.
Exactly.
No, she hasn't listened to it.
Why 18 months? Why place an arbitrary number on it? It's so stupid.
It's the same arbitrariness of 5 dates before sleeping with someone. I think you have to set a point where you're comfortable, where it's this is it.
At some point in a relationship, you need certainty, right? You can't just leave it up to interpretation and subjectivity all the time. Otherwise, people never know where they stand.
Well, what are your thoughts then about, swinging?
Well, both parties agree to it. I don't think you could do it. Well, you're talking about couples swinging.
Is that exclusive if you're committed to your wife, but you both swing?
I think if you're doing it together...
To have the conversation about swinging you invariably must be in an exclusive relationship. Otherwise, it's not swinging. It's just doing what you're doing.
Well, look
So
at
it's just orge.
Yes, just orge.
Well,
It's pure orge.
Tinder is now orging. Tinder with this Tinder Social, it is now official orge central. You've got groups now that aren't just female. There's male-female groups.
Yeah, I've never
talking
I don't understand those.
Don't get it.
Yeah.
And then two people talk, and then it expires. And then when we matched, when I was swiping, I got matches, and then when you were swiping, we got no matches, and then that presents a problem. Maybe they want me over you.
Well, almost certainly. Yeah.
So then how does that work? How do you only see me and not see the, if you like, the Danny DeVito of the twin section of the relationship? How do you navigate through that?
Well, I don't think because they were trialing that part of Tinder, like that part of the app in Australia, and I don't think it went particularly well.
Oh, they're trialing it.
Yeah. So actually, Australia was the first place that was trialed.
Why is that? Because we're the most fiendish.
Well, because we're far away from anywhere else. I think.
Okay.
So it's like they trial a lot of stuff in New Zealand as well, because it's
they?
just like such an isolated market. So if it goes, cuck, then like what are the repercussions?
But
3 million Kiwis are angry.
But they were
3
like-
million Kiwis are angry most of the time anyway.
They would try cuck there. They would try like breast milk flavoured ice cream. Like
They would,
cuck. Like
yeah.
real
Like
controversial.
homemade hummus nonsense, Ben. That sort of stuff.
Hummus flavoured ice cream.
I mean, I don't understand your gripe with homemade produce. It's ridiculous.
I have a gripe.
Fresher,
So-
But it doesn't.
better for
It doesn't
you.
necessarily
let's,
taste
let's
better.
just, let's just put it on the table. Ben is being paid a high price by Parisian aristocrats for him to cook food for them.
In Paris.
In Paris.
In Paris?
In Paris. And he claims that his food is gourmet because he is producing
saying
it.
no.
Because he is producing it at home.
He would pronounce it gourmet. That's the
Yeah,
thing. He
exactly.
would pronounce it gourmet.
Absolutely he would. Defend
Are you guys
yourself.
done? Are you done?
Yeah, defend yourself. Just sitting there, taking it.
What I aim to do is introduce Parisians to a type of cuisine which they otherwise would not see.
Vegemite.
A different type of person, a different side of food, a different side of life that they would otherwise experience in their normal Parisian day-to-day lives. That's what I give them, and that's the premium they pay.
Vegemite on rice crackers. Is that essentially not? You wouldn't be able to get there. Or the Tim Tam straw. That actually would go down a hoot. The old Tim Tam straw.
What we provide is homemade pavlovas.
Have you brought your wife into this as well? You have a kitchen hand.
She's my muse.
She's
my muse.
your muse.
What does she dance in the corner?
She chides and insults him to lift his performance.
The dinner's going bad when you're looking at Gemma dance in the corner. I'll tell you what. So what do you make? So what's the story?
Okay.
Hummus and bread.
Homemade sourdough bread. Homemade good quality sourdough bread from Parisian natural yeasts.
Wild yeast.
Yeah, absolutely. The wilder the better.
So if it's homemade, does that make it better? I mean, homemade could be terrible.
Of course it could, but I back myself.
Interesting.
We all know what
Yeah.
happens when you back yourself, Ben.
We offer an Australian meat pie, homemade of course.
Yeah, of course. Everything is homemade. Where do you get the beef from, Ben?
It's imported.
It's important. Softened with the feet.
Grain fed.
We offer a homemade chicken parmigiana.
What's the most complex tool that you would use in the kitchen?
My mind.
Oh wow! What a comment.
That went down like a lead balloon.
Absolutely
You sound like they're funny,
absolutely
not funny
excellent,
at
yeah,
all.
yeah.
I thought you were going to say like a tagine, or maybe like a whisk. Whisk.
Okay, fine. An electronic whisk.
And do you go out there and entertain the dinners, Ben? Do you entertain the groups?
Yeah,
You do? A little bit of chat,
Yeah.
a little bit of repartee.
yeah. That's part of the service.
Can we go back to the electronic whisk? So he's so lazy in the kitchen that he can't even move his arm to move the whisk.
Yeah,
He
but
needs to do it for him.
he's making up for that by kneading the chickpeas with his feet.
Probably has an electronic kneader. Or like a Thermomix or something.
It's a privileged life.
Ben's getting in trouble with his wife. Ben, are you okay?
Yep, just making sure the video doesn't shine on the bathroom.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, that is.
That's
That's
embarrassing.
not on. No.
No, Gemma's practicing her dance moves because she knows that it will go a bit south tonight.
But you know we can see the bathroom in the reflection in your glasses.
Oh, yes.
We actually can.
We actually can. Or his forehead. Either way, one of them. Take the glasses off, we'll see them.
Anyway, so exclusivity. Let's continue.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So.
All right. Let's say it's 3 dates in. Right. You can still see other people and do all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
But let's say you like the girl and it's 3 dates in, but you happen to meet, a very attractive other woman. Can you sleep with her within those first 3 dates? And without there being an issue. And at what point is there an issue?
Well, the issue would.
The question is, would you tell the other party that you've done this?
Or would you need to tell them?
Well, no, but that's not the point. Would you feel the need that would you feel like would you feel you needed to? I guess that is the point.
Got that one out, Ben. Paris is messed his brain up, man.
I think just so there's an understanding, is that Ben has been shitting liquid for the last 5 days and is clearly very dehydrated and not thinking clearly.
He's got the sweats.
I've not been maintaining my liquids to the right extent, and it could come through in the final few minutes.
Trying to hold it in.
So he's not peaked for performance here. So
wait, so a girl would be more comfortable to be exclusive. I think we established this on a previous episode, that a girl would be definitely more comfortable to be exclusive before, one, they attach quicker, but two, sex is more comfortable when they're emotionally involved. They don't want anyone else.
I think it's just a more emotional act as well.
For them, or in general, you mean?
No, for them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So they're comfortable. They don't need it. They actually enjoy it more once they feel comfortable with someone. Mm-hmm. So then, should guys be left with the burden to follow suit? Or should we say, hey...
Well, I think if you're serious about the girl, okay, your partner, you almost have to follow suit, which would kind of mean that once you're sleeping with one girl, even if that were to happen on the third date, let's say, you can't really sleep with anyone else if you want to progress things. Ben, would you agree or disagree?
Of course, I do agree.
Gordon and Jem is peeping around the
But
background.
again, it's all about how you feel, because if you don't tell them, nothing's ever going to come of it. They won't know. It'll be fine. So it's just about how comfortable you feel keeping a secret of this nature from them, really.
Well, let's say you're a semi-ethical person, right? And you'd want to be upfront with someone that you're emotionally involved.
But neither of you particularly are.
Ethical?
Yes, well, you particularly, Laz.
I don't appreciate that at all.
I think I can see Gemma slowly withdrawing the knife through the reflection in his glasses, just to say.
There is movement.
Just to make sure he's saying the right thing.
Babs, I retract that. You are reasonably ethical, but I think Laz doesn't have much of an ethical
Babs is atrocious.
spine.
Babs is atrociously ethical. It is sometimes a bit pathetic. Now you go in there, and you, for example, after the first date, you say, "I'm not going to kiss her. I'm not going to."
I barely know the woman.
What happens if she's connected? You still wouldn't.
If she's what?
She feels emotionally connected. There's chemistry. You wouldn't.
No, I would. If there was chemistry, it's just not something I'd push for on the first date.
You the 5 date. You that 5 date.
I'm not a 5 date. I dated one girl that had some bullshit 5 date rule, and now you think that applies to me as well.
It must have rubbed off.
It hasn't rubbed off. The fact that I'm not having sex has nothing to do with that.
It's a self-imposed rule.
It's not self-imposed, but it has nothing to do with that.
And Ben's excuse is marriage. But besides that, then... Hey. And Gemma's back with the knife. Okay, but... And then... I mean, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah, so you agree that that's actually the right way to run things. That's the right way.
I guess the double standard is what happens if she wants to have sex on the first date? Do you consider herself a bit of a slurry?
Yes, I do. I mean, we've discussed this before, and Ben obviously is going to disagree with me.
We have.
Yeah.
I do.
We have discussed this again. This has gone all full circle. And I said she wasn't a slurry.
Well, you call it full circle or repetitive, one of the two.
Or tedious.
Yeah.
Either way.
Redundant. Anyway, so the other thing that's happening in Paris, just to change the subject, is Ben is currently taking a barista course. He's auditioning. He's immersing himself in Parisian life, in the culture, in the food, in the cafe. And And I have a question about one's relationship with their barista. So do you like it when your barista knows your name, engages you in conversation every day, knowing full well that he doesn't really
You'll know
give
where
two
I stand.
shits?
You'll know where I stand.
You know, or would you just like the coffee and let's move on? Because I, at my previous place of employment in Melbourne, I had a wonderful cafe just down the laneway, and there was a French barista there who was just the surliest guy you'll ever meet. He just did not want to be there. Had no interest in making coffee, but he made a tremendous cafe. Tremendous. And he never spoke to me, never engaged in me, never showed any interest in my life. One day I was feeling particularly cock-a-hoop. Went over there and engaged him, smiled at him, said, "How's your day? What you got planned for the weekend?" And he just snarled at me and looked at me like...
I respect that, actually.
Yeah, and I looked at, do you not understand our relationship after 3.5 years?
No, I respect that.
And I was like, I backed off. It was my fault. It was my mistake.
Yeah, he's got a job to do.
Exactly.
He's got lots of stuff to do. It's a repetitive job. He understands where you're at. You're the client. He's the provider of the coffee.
And that's it. That's where our relationship ends.
What do you
Let's
think
not
you are?
manufacture anything else.
Completely agree.
Yes, that's what I stand for.
Such clowns.
Oh, really? Oh,
you,
come on,
you
man.
talk with every Heimschmerl, and there will be a line 3 hours long because you're just talking the fat with some nonsense about how you make hummus.
Here's a question: Is it a service industry?
Yes. Well,
No, it is service. No,
it is. I know where you're going. Okay, it's part service, part product.
Yes, exactly.
Ben,
Fine, but there's a service element.
The service
He's
is making the
engaging.
coffee.
the service should end at handing the coffee to
Yes,
you.
that's the service.
That's the service.
I love nothing more than walking into a cafe and the guy goes, "The usual, Ben?" "Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
How's your day?" "It's great."
He's like, I didn't
really
ask
enjoyed
you.
it. Absolute nonsense.
Well,
And I
fortunately
love
for the Parisians,
idea
your
of-
French is very, very limited.
Yeah, actually, that's
from my
conducive.
understanding, and it will be conducive to actually providing good product and service, because you won't be able to engage.
I tell you what will happen
You
though.
are such a turkey.
they'll ask you,
I
like-
can hold my own in a basic French conversation and then slowly transition it to English when required.
Oh, and he would infiltrate every coffee with almond milk.
Straight from the teeth.
And I would ask for sugar, and he wouldn't put any in.
No, because Ben has standards, and I actually
No,
stand with Ben on
no,
that.
you
Ben,
can't.
you don't serve cafe with sugar, and
Hold on.
I assume in your future barista role, you will refuse to do so.
You're going against what you're saying,
Perhaps
Mark.
I will.
You're
I'll
going
throw
against what
it
you're
away.
saying.
Hey, he doesn't have to verbalise it. He doesn't have to verbalise it, he just doesn't do it.
No, but there's a client. There's a client, there's a service, you do the service. I want 5 sugars, you'll give me 5 sugars.
I won't. And over time, your palate will adjust.
So you're doing them the service.
I'm doing you a service.
Laz, if you engage me in conversation for 4 to 5 days, I would then consider the offer of coffee, sugar,
Sucre.
one that could be brought up.
It's like the soup Nazi with his bloody coffee.
He is.
Honestly.
He hasn't even landed the role yet. He's still very much in the
Do
audition.
you know what his role is? Do you know what his role will be? To put the F on the flat white, like FW on the cup, and just pass it to the barista. That's clearly what you're going to do.
That's harder than it looks. That's
Yeah,
harder than it looks.
With no spillage.
would
It's
judge
interesting.
you.
Ben, in terms of your chances of landing this role, what percentage influences your beard?
Oh, I think that's my strong. That's what I bring to the table. On my CV, the first thing I had written on there was beard.
And then second was thick rimmed
and the
glasses.
second one was that I lived in Melbourne. Helps.
Thick rimmed glasses, receding hairline.
Positive attitude towards fresh produce.
No
and
tattoos
good
though,
quality
Ben.
Cafe.
No
No
tats.
tattoos.
No tattoos.
When they read from
No,
Melbourne.
they don't like tattoos. They don't like tattoos in Paris.
They
Oh,
don't, do
really?
they? No, they don't.
No.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I have heard that actually.
I didn't know that.
Interesting. Anyway,
So-
well, you good luck when you start this role, Ben.
I hear back if they even consider me for the second round of interviews on Monday.
Oh, well, good luck on that. I guess the next podcast it will be determined whether at least we'll have some more coffee conversations. I'm sure our listeners really, really enjoy that, and most probably would
I
prefer
know I
sharing
do.
the
I
coffees.
know I do.
Exactly. So
Wow.
on the 20-minute mark, or approaching the 20-minute mark, we had the final thought. And I actually, on this final thought, actually, I've got a two-part. One is that I've enjoyed your element of hosting today, Barbs. Usually, I think you've done a really good job in
Normally,
directing.
I sit back and
Correct,
relax
but
a
you've
little
done a
bit.
great job. You've obviously matured. I don't know what's happened over the last few weeks, but
I've had
clearly
space to breathe and consider.
I get that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So that I've enjoyed. But 2, my final thought is sockets. Don't understand them. I don't want to see them.
As in plug holes.
No, sockets. You know the tiny little socks that people put on their shoes so it appears that they're not wearing socks.
Oh, yeah.
But then they do wear socks.
But it is to expose the Achilles.
Don't want to see
And
Achilles.
that is... It
Do
is.
you know when I want to see Achilles? When they wear thongs. And you know when I want to wear thongs? When they've got decent feet.
Achilles
All
is a
right?
really nice feature on the body.
I actually think it's quite nice as well, Ben.
Watch Achilles go to the beach, and you don't see Hobbit feet because you don't want to see Achilles. In fact, that's the only element I'll accept it is if you've got like Hobbit feet and you can't wear thongs, so you need the Achilles to breathe. Otherwise, I don't want to see it.
I'm not sure that made any sense, but I'm not as particular with feet nor Achilles.
If you've got Hobbit feet, you don't want to wear thongs, as we established with Rob's podcast, that you didn't want to take off your shoes. Yeah, you're another story, mate. But sockets, I don't understand, and we'll probably delve deep into that next podcast. But that's
Okay.
like either don't wear
not.
socks or wear shoes where socks are acceptable and you can actually show them. All right?
I've got a final thought for once. I'm not going to blank.
Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah, so a
Potato.
bit of a change. Is tattoos. I think there should be 2 rules with tattoos, and I've considered these. I think that if it's above the neck or exposed on the neck, you better be the boss of whatever you do, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to struggle to find another role. And the other one is you shouldn't have any tattoo in a language that you can't read and understand. If you can't read and understand, then it shouldn't be on your body.
I agree.
It makes no sense to me. And I reckon that about 30% of people with tattoos have some stupid tattoo.
And
like
tattoo
that.
artists would love doing that because they've just got free reign.
Absolutely, could write anything.
They could just write.
So are you proposing that they have to go through some sort of language competency test at the tattoo parlor before they put it on?
Intermediate competency before you put it on.
Or go in with the language that you want to tattoo. You can only speak in that language. So
That's fair.
which will maybe make understanding what the tattoo artist should be a little troubling. But if you only speak Chinese, make sure you go to a tattoo artist that speaks Chinese.
But
And then get tattooed in Chinese.
let these morons do it. They're idiots.
I
This is
know.
what they're amusing.
I know there is, but it's like if I was.
I get offended when I see it. I understand. what you're
I'm
saying.
offended.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't presume to tell anyone how to live their life. But if it was like my friend or my kid or something, that these are the rules that I would impose.
Okay. All right. Good
Yeah,
thought.
okay.
Good
I
thought,
understand
Bobs.
that.
Yeah,
I
good
like
thought.
that.
And
That's
actually
quite
smashed
structured and it makes sense.
Yeah, and the sweet potato.
For a change, yeah.
it's good, okay.
And there's too much sweet potato. Okay.
Benny,
I forgot to mention on my menu is sweet potato fries.
Oh, wow, that's
no,
basic.
that's
It's so basic.
the only twist to the fry,
Jesus.
sweet potato.
Mate, I can make sweet potato
But
fries.
it's the only twist. It's either fries, or if you want the healthy version, it's the sweet potato fry. There's nothing-
I would tear up, it seems like, the French culinary scene. Like, I could be...
And you don't,
Obviously, it doesn't require much.
No, clearly
So
not.
You have a Vegemite, you put that in a croissant, and it's like you revolutionised.
Give me 2 months to grow a beard, and I'll dominate.
Ben, your final thought?
2 months.
Ben, your final thought?
Well, it was actually because I've been travelling. We've had to. It's been quite annoying driving around, but we've been to Spain to the beaches. It's been quite lovely.
Right,
Made me
travelling
think
around.
about-
Yeah, carry on.
What has actually made me think about it? It's another clothing related question. Is how many pairs of jocks do you need in your repertoire?
Don't use Ben as the benchmark.
Because I feel like
Oh, no.
I've got 14. 14.
Yeah, I think that's
Wow,
fine.
I went to triple you
Yeah, but-
one day, Ben. I remember it was like I think it was to Israel or something. It was like 6 weeks. I think he brought 2 pairs of underpants.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. But what is the quality of the 14?
Oh, it'd be horrendous.
Yeah, so I refuse to spend more than sort of a $5 on a 5-pack. I'm not spending $20 on a pair of
So you're buying your underwear at 7-Eleven. Like that is
They're probably edible undies. What are you doing? What are
Yeah,
you
I
showing?
think
I don't want to sew this. And he needs
wow.
the day of the week just in case just in case his mind is too chock-a-block with cooking that he doesn't remember what day
So
it is.
I had my Monday to Sunday undies,
Yeah.
and I don't choose them for the day, but when I put them on and it's on the day that it says, it's going to be a good day.
I like that.
I like that too.
I
That's
like that.
excellent, Ben.
That's a good ending.
That's a great note to end on.
Good. Well, on that, we appreciate you listening and get ready for episode 6 to become shortly But
Sorry we left you for so long.
yeah, apologies. And the next episode, we want to really try and push for iTunes.
Oh, well, this episode will actually be launched on iTunes and details will be provided. It will. And perhaps with the next episode, we'll have a special guest.
Oh, I can't wait to see what
That
that
would
is.
be nice.
Well, we have to yet to discuss that, but I can't wait. All right, cheers, everyone.